Hello and welcome to Newbie Neutronium. This is the third video in my series on how to build your own online business. The first video talked about idea generating, coming up with different topics of things that you could create a website business out of. The second step was doing the keyword research, and now the third step, which is analyzing your audience. So what you need to do is take the keyword research that you did and rank all of your ideas from 1 through 10 or 15 or however many you came up with. Some of them, of course, were automatically eliminated because they were too competitive or didn't get enough searches. So those you can just scratch off. But the rest of them, rank them from top to bottom. And what you want to do now is think about who your target audience is for each of those. So in the examples that we used before, the how to run a marathon or how to train for a marathon was one of the subjects. So if I were to create a website around that, being a marathon runner myself, I have a little bit of knowledge about that particular subject. So I can narrow it down. I would probably target women. To help narrow it further, I might target women who are of a certain age, so maybe those that are over 30, who live in northern climates or someplace where there's 4 seasons all year, and because I can speak to that subject as well, running in the winter, running in the summer, that kind of thing. And I might also narrow it down to people who have never run a marathon before. Maybe they're active, they like to bike and camp and hike and do all kinds of sporting activities, but have never actually run a marathon. So that would narrow down my scope considerably, and I would be able to better target my audience. There's several reasons for doing this. First of all, if I just did how to train for a marathon, it's not a high competitive phrase, but it would be more difficult to market it because it is so general. And there's already a lot of information out there that is free. And remember, we want to create a website that's going to create an income. So you need to be thinking about buying phrases as well. Also, narrowing it down, again, will help you do your social marketing, your social media. So if you have a website that's just about how to train for marathons, how to train to run a marathon, and you go out to Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or any of those other social media, you may or may not find very many groups already existing that you can market. You may have to create your own group, and that will take longer to get your own followers. But if you are specific to, as I said, women over the age of 40, there are already groups out there that you can specifically target and offer your services and your website, and you are more likely to get hits because they're already interested in your subject. So go ahead and think through your top 5 choices at this point and write up a paragraph that describes your target audience, and think about an individual person is probably the easiest way to do this. Think about someone you know that you think would fit into your demographic. You know, how old are they? Where do they live? What do they do for a living? What kind of income do they have? How do they like to spend their money? Are they comfortable getting information online? Do they prefer social media? Do they like YouTube, or do they like to read their information on a website? Those kinds of things. And think through that and write out a paragraph for each of the top 5 choices for your topics. And that is all there is to audience analytics, excuse me. So our next step is actually going to be figuring out what our business model is going to be. So once you've written up those 5 paragraphs about who your audience is, set those aside, and you can review them when you're figuring out your business model. Thanks for joining me. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me on my Facebook Newbie Neutronium group. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks again.